Okay, so synth pop is like very popular now and everything. Like even in the UK, everybody's trying to bust out the synth and everything. But you're quite original because you started in 2008 or 2007.
I made my MySpace in 2006. I
okay.
February in 2006.
Great. So like you were really almost, dare I say, one of the few pioneers of that sort of genre. Okay. Yeah, you and Adam Young up there, you know, and everything. But here's the interesting question: when you're going to start, you know, developing your career, do you think you're going to continue down the same road, or are you going to mix it up? I mean, what is the future genre of your music going to hold? Where's your path?
I certainly hope that the next record isn't going to be just like the last.
Yeah.
You know, looking back on my musical career so far, even before I got into electro, I've been everywhere. I was in a metal band for a while, and I was
metal.
Yeah, I played guitar in a metal band.
Yeah.
I was in a pop punk band. I was doing acoustic stuff. I tried R&B. You know, I tried a little bit of everything. So you know, I'm doing electro now, and I always have a fascination with keyboards. I always find inspiration in finding new sounds. And I'll always probably play a part in the music, but I'm not always going to sound this way. I'm always going to be evolving and changing with the times or ahead of the times if I can. And just making the music I like, you know?
Yeah.
And you can't always do the same thing, because you personally be frustrated. I think that's what one of the, I mean, I think when artists make their first album and then have a struggle making their second one, you know, I'm not really one to talk because I don't have a second one out yet, but it's hard because you don't know if you should make the same thing, because that's what people like you for, so it's like, we should go back and make the same thing. But it's hard for yourself as an artist because you're always changing as a person and you want to change to the next level. So I think I'd say go for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, your inspiration come from anywhere. Is that what you're saying? Or?
Kind of. I mean, at the bottom, it's about the songs. It's about having a good song. So if I manage to write, you know, a bunch of good songs again, it doesn't matter what you put around it. I put some synths and drums, and you're good.
Bit of metal.
Yeah, bit of metal chugging.
That's great. Now your album is called The Listening.
Yes.
It's been out for how long now?
Well, here in the UK, it just came out on 17th.
Excellent.
Last week.
Excellent, excellent. And it's a very, you know, youthful, fun, energetic album. Did you write all the music lyrics yourself, or were you teaming up with other people or producers, or? There
are 3 songs in it that I just wrote on my own, and then everything else is co-writes. And I work with they're both friends of mine. One's named Dave, and one's named Todd Salter. And they're just awesome songwriters. It's nice to have somebody to bounce ideas off of. So the rest of the album is just sitting down, writing up a song together, and producing it together.
Yeah. So so like you're really the core, obviously, and then there wasn't like some super producer that you worked with.
No. It's never. No, I've written with a lot of super producers actually, and it's a bit.
Super producers.
Yeah, they like have capes, and they're really buff. Not at all. It's a little. You know, as an artist, I found it a little hard to work with somebody who's already really renowned.
Let's go with renowned.
Renowned. The French version. Because it was a bit about them, you know, where, you know, they have their ideas and they're in there working away, and I'm just like, I have an idea, I have no.
Yeah.
And it's just,
it's
just not me, you know. So Togs and Dave really know me, and they know how to let me go off and do my own thing, and ideas are never shut down. That's the worst thing that can happen in a songwriting session, where someone's like, it's just, you're never gonna get it anymore.
No, you won't.
If you put it in there, and if you don't like it, take it out later. But and so I find that, you know, it's really important to work with people that will allow you to get what you want across. Yeah,
I mean, it's very, very, very hard from what, 15, 16 to kind of like call the shots. I mean, when did you start? When did you realise? Hang on a second, I'm in control. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I want it to sound like this. Let's get this on here and everything like that. Even like your live show. When did you start realising that?
Well, it started when you start having ideas.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as you have an idea and then you learn to say it, it's there. And so I've always kind of been like that. And there's obviously been some situations. I remember when I first started working with Dave and Todd. They're amazing songwriters, amazing producers. When we first started working together, especially me and Togs, we didn't actually work that well together. Because I had these ideas, but they weren't that great, and he was just like, had these ideas, and we weren't thinking on the same page. But after enough, but we came up with good stuff, pretty good stuff. It just didn't feel honest. And then a couple of years later, we got back together and started writing again. It was like boom, boom, one after the other, one after the other. And I think we just kind of we sat and let it sink in how much we wanted to let each other do. And and it's kind of perfect.
Excellent.
You know, I mean,
that's very lucky. That's very lucky.
Really lucky, you know, and I feel really lucky to have somebody like these two guys to work with. And I'm going to branch out and try working with other people too, and do a lot on my own as well, because that's the way I started. Again, going back to your question, started out literally like producing my own stuff every day. I was doing it all, so I had tons of ideas, and that was when I realized you can call the shots. You know, when you're writing stacks and stacks of songs that you produce yourself, and you're like, that sounds good, that doesn't, that sounds good. You start to get a sense of what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And while you've still got tons to learn, you know that just say what you want, because otherwise it's going to sound like everyone else.
I mean, that actually answers another big question. What advice would you give any inspiring musician that wants to be just like you? One of your biggest fans, they're like, oh my god, I mean, like, they're in their bedroom, they've got this plan, they need to write all their, you know, what would you say? What would you...
I would say don't strive to be just like anybody else, because then you're just going to do the same thing over and over again. One of my biggest tips is, if you have some kind of craft, whether it's your music or your instrument or painting or something like that, do it to your satisfaction. Make sure that you're so proud of it that you just want to stand on top of a mountain and show everyone what you've done. That's how proud you should be of your music before you put it out there. Because that way, I mean, if you're that proud of something, no matter who likes it or who bashes it or who tells you it sucks or who wants everything you've done, you know, you're still, it's not going to change the fact that you're freaking proud of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a philosophical point there. But then again, you might, you know, turn out the shittest record of all time.
Well, I mean, that you know, if you're changing who you are and what you create so that you can get some success, you're probably doing the wrong thing. I mean, as hard as it is to accept, it's true. I mean, because everybody, I feel, has something they're meant to be doing, and you're meant to love it too. If you're meant to love it.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be 100% behind yourself. Yeah. Not bad answer. Any gigs you'd like to plug, or you've done, or are coming up over the next year, or?
Well, we're coming back to writing Leeds in August, so
Brilliant.
we had that.
Well
so I'm looking forward to that. We're just finishing up our first kind of headliner here in the UK, so we've got a few more dates, and then we're doing some dot-to-dot stuff, a few dot-to-dot dates.
What's the dot-to-dot thing?
Dot-to-dot festivals.
Oh, okay.
We're playing like Manchester, Bristol. They're all on imelights.com/tour.
Okay.
Check out all the dates.
Yeah, check it out.
This summer it's going to be a lot of writing, but we're doing a lot of festivals this summer over in North America as well, including Lilith Fair, which is an all-woman tour that goes around North America. Huge names on. So I plan on going and learning a lot about women in the industry. It's kind of a minority for sure. It's going to be very cool.
Who would you like to collaborate with, and why? If you could.
Right, at this point, it changes all the time. At this point, I'd love to. I always say this because I'm kind of obsessed, but I love Deadmau5 and I'd love to do something with Deadmau5. You know?
They're awesome. Yeah. Really good, really good, really good. No, not bad answer, not bad. Okay, what music are you currently listening to at the moment? You listening to any music?
Yeah, a couple of my favorites right now are Lonely Deer, Swedish, kind of soft electro.
Did you write songs for them?
I wish, no. No, not that one. Lonely Deer, Deadmau5, a lot.
No complaints there.
Yeah, exactly. Hatebreed, they put out a bunch of records last year and been doing tons of stuff. There's just constant entertainment. So I love Hatebreed. And I've been listening to a lot of Leonard Cohen and Joni Mitchell. Two Canadian, really classic, amazing songwriters.
Yeah, Hallelujah, one of the best songs of all time.
One of the most beautiful songs, Tower of Song. Which is
sure. And last question, we need to ask, apparently. This is a question that we ask all our artists. Would you consider yourself to be a music freak? Because I call myself a music freak, the music freak. And if so, what warrants you that title? So why are you a music freak? You know.
I don't know. I mean.
If you are.
I would have to say, in order to be classified as a music freak, I'd have to, you know, music would have to consume. I'd say the definition would probably be over at least 50% of your life. Yeah. And if that's the case, I'm definitely a music freak.
She is. Lights, Bow Selector, MusicVita.com. What's your website?
IamLights.com.
IamLights.com. That's actually a real name.
Yes, it is.
Wikipedia. Thank you very much.